Hi guys!
Ni hao!
So this week we're bringing you a different kind of blog. We have had a lot of talks about kind of how we should present the blogs, given that when we're travelling there are moments when you're not happy or you're having a bit of a down day, and this really started kind of when we came into China. We came in on second class on the Trans-Mongolian, and we decided that this would be a good chance to save some money and meet people.
So we met a lovely guy called Barnaby on the train. We had lots of long conversations with him, played lots of games. He's also going travelling towards Japan, and I think it's fair to say that all three of us were feeling a bit disappointed when we pulled into Beijing, and it was a bit dark, cloudy, smoggy, couldn't see anything, and it kind of set the mood for our day a bit.
So on leaving the train with about 1,000 other people in the station, we were kind of thrown right into the fire and couldn't figure out where to go. There was no one around to kind of help, ask and stuff, so we decided that we'd walk it. It wasn't that far to our hostel, and after a bit of a trek we managed to find it quite easily really. It's the end of a nice street, and the hostel's great. It's big, completely different to the ones we've been in previously, and I'm sure it's going to be different to the ones we're going in the future.
We went out for a little bit of a walk in the afternoon around some alleys and some food markets to try and see what Beijing is about.
So we tried out a cafe called the Confucius Cafe, which we found on the Lonely Planet Guide, and it kind of turned out to be a bit of a weird one. It wasn't something that we'd normally find on the Lonely Planet Guide. It didn't have much authentic feel to it. I mean, we had some food, but simply because it was the only thing available, we left it a bit late to eat, so we just had some cheese on toast, wasn't it, really? So that was a shame, and kind of, as I said, walking around the markets was good fun, and we were able to eat some street food, try out some things we hadn't tried before, and try and get a bit of good feeling back after the early start.
So the next day we headed for the Forbidden City, which is one of the must-sees in Beijing while you're here.
There were just thousands of people there, and it made doing everything a little more difficult. Getting tickets took a long time, getting through the gates took a long time, and at the end of the day we weren't able to see much of what was inside any of the palaces because there was just queues upon queues upon queues of people, all shoving in with elbows. It was quite
intense.
Yeah, intense is the right word. I think both of us just felt it was a bit of a shame. I mean, we're glad we're there in winter because I can't imagine what it would be like in summer in the height of tourist season.
So we decided to try and rectify the situation. We looked up a restaurant on TripAdvisor for some Peking duck, which is one of the dishes you've got to try while in Beijing. So we found this fantastic place. We got a bit confused in the queuing system with the Chinese numbers being read out, but eventually we got a table.
And it's just a great experience really. It looks like a really fancy restaurant, but actually only cost us about £15 a head, and it was great.
Really good fun, everyone was super friendly, and I think it really perked up our spirits.
I mean, they carved up the duck in front of you. Chloe got served her duck, and out of nowhere this waitress came across, obviously looking at us thought we might not know how to eat it properly, and showed us how to make traditional duck pancakes, which was just incredible. Finding stuff to eat has been an issue for us. It's not been a case of us not willing to try stuff. We've walked along so many streets and everywhere trying to pick up something, and street food is great, but you can't fill yourself up on street food, so at some point you need to go to a restaurant. But we have struggled, and that's the reality of travelling in China.
So fresh face, the next day we went to the Summer Palace, which is another place to see while you're in Beijing. We took the metro across town. It was quite a journey, but the metros here are really easy to figure out. They're very clean, very organised. Tickets are between 30p and £1, so it's all really easy.
So arriving at the Summer Palace, I think both of us breathed a sigh of relief because there were almost no tourists there. We were, among the only people there. We'd arrived early, which was actually a good thing because the palace is 75% lake, so you have to walk around it, and it was just really relaxing actually, in a complete contrast to the day before.
Lots of pretty bridges everywhere. I mean, some of them were huge, and the angles on these bridges were crazy. They were beautiful to look at. The palaces were, as you'd expect, ornately designed, really interesting, lots of information, and generally just a really lovely walk round.
I think it really helped us get back to neutral really with Beijing. I mean, we'd kind of fallen out of love with it after the Forbidden City, because of just the number of people there. The Summer Palace we would really recommend, I think, as our #1 place to go in Beijing, to escape the main city and to just get some peace.
So of course the thing everyone talks about whilst in China is going to see the Great Wall. So trying to do this backpacker style, we chose to take the bus, use the Lonely Planet Guide instructions and plan to see a part of the unrestored wall.
On the first day we tried to get the bus, and on arriving at the bus station we were ushered towards another bus that we hadn't planned for by one of the bus conductors.
It wasn't straightforward though, because this bus still needed to change to get to the Great Wall, and when we were dumped in the middle of this town we had absolutely no idea what bus we were taking, where the bus stop was, and we were quickly hustled by lots of taxi drivers offering to take us to the touristy part of the Great Wall for extortionate prices, and it was very hard to get away actually.
After about an hour of being just worn down by it, we decided that let's call it a day. It's a wasted day. Let's go back to Beijing and use this as our rest day and prepare again for a journey, this time on our terms, to the Great Wall at Zhangdaokao.
So this time we got on the right bus, the 916 to Huarong. It still wasn't straightforward. We managed to get off at the wrong bus stop, struggled to find our bus stop, but thankfully Luke's been practicing his Chinese characters, so we made it there. We did ask for some help along the way, but people don't seem to be that helpful to us.
So we were dropped off at Zhuangdaokao, which is a very small village not far from the tourist site of Mutianyu, and this is an unrestored part of the wall, and we were quite keen to walk along the unrestored part, the bit that most tourists don't see. We didn't want the traditional tourist photos, we wanted to again be on our own. So a little hike up the hill and we discovered the Great Wall of China, and I mean I touched the wall first but Chloe was on it first. I took a shortcut which didn't actually turn out to be a shortcut.
And when they say unrestored, they mean unrestored. We were scrambling around on rocks having fun. It was just lovely to be on our own actually. Of course it was quite foggy, we didn't get the views that maybe some other tourists get in the summer, but we had a really great time exploring the towers. We walked along for a good hour or so until we reached the restored part.
So we really got the best of both worlds really, because we got to see restored parts of the wall and unrestored parts of the wall, and places that tourists don't really know are there.
I think the journey in this case for us was the biggest adventure and probably our highlight of the whole trip so far. We each spent £2 there and £2 back, so we each saved £26, which was great. Recommend it to everyone.
So our last day in China has been really about us. We've been having some downtime, we've also been packing ready for our flight to Malaysia, and we decided to head off to the cinema, have some, James Bond action, and just have a bit of a break. Travelling's great, but sometimes you need a bit of time off, and this is a really good chance to do that.
Yeah, China's been quite a difficult country for us to visit, not only getting the visa, but trying to find help to get to places, food that we understand. We've really enjoyed parts of it, but other parts have been quite hard work.
It's a culture shock, there's no doubt about that, and I think that we'll have more along the way. So it's a good learning curve for us, and I'm sure we'll grow from it as well, but the more we can pass on tips to you, the better.
So off to Kuala Lumpur tonight. We'll next be chatting to you from Malaysia.
Cheers,
Bye guys.
Bye.